It's day 12 of the zero carb diet, although I'm continuously cheating. I had 2 packets of crisps today. I can't explain it. I'm gonna. Yeah, just I'll get on your page too. Like it's for the gut dysbiosis and leaky gut, basically. Well, the sleep I had a strange sleep because I wasn't moving about very much. So in fact, my shoulder was a bit stiff because I was in the one position, it seems. So it was calm and restful, quite calm and restful. But it didn't feel that refreshing, So even though I was quite, I mean, I don't know if it's maybe because I've not got enough energy, or if it was actually good for me, But you know, still feel dazed and that. But I had 2 packets of crisps. I had a bit of chocolate as well, so that's not good. Mostly I did meat and mixed veg. I think I've had 3 sort of things of that so far. Not much. The day I would give it 4.6 out of 10. I mean, I don't know. It's getting to the point where I don't really want to eat the carbs that I used to eat that much, but I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But it doesn't feel that I've crossed the Rubicon or whatever, you know what I mean? I'm still in sort of purgatory or whatever you want to call it. Just, I've still got a tension all over my body, a tension headache, which I think is all to do with toxicity. I'm toxed up to the max, probably because I've got an auto-brewery gut, generating toxins, dysbiosis. In my case, probably from bacteria. Just to go over these, I've went over these the last few days, because if you've got bacterial overgrowth in even in your large intestine, but usually it's when it comes up to your small intestine, that's when you're in trouble. Well, it's actually the fungus Candida albicans. It'll probably give you auto-brewery syndrome officially, and that's because it produces ethanol. I think fungus produces ethanol, and the bacteria don't. But that's ethanol, that's pure alcohol. I think bacteria produce other types of alcohols, which probably don't taste very nice, but they're not very good for you either. So you can have bacterial, in my opinion, brewery, auto-brewery syndrome. And then SIBO, because the worst type of SIBO is people who have got a short small intestine, and they're constantly getting D-lactic acidosis, which is very serious. It can kill you. And I think I've actually given myself that with, I think it was either probiotics, I can't remember now. It was probiotics or it was, I think I gave myself, I can't remember why, but I felt really ill anyway. And that's what put me off probiotics and prebiotics really. Yeah, so I think most of us have got over fermentation of some type, whether it's bacterial or fungal, you'll need to find out. If you get a lot of thrush and stuff, it might be fungal, more likely fungal, and maybe your intestine, especially small intestine, is a sort of pit where it's all happening. And so at the moment, I don't know whether I've got die off or I'm damaging myself, or I'm doing myself harm. This is what I find frustrating with this. But I'm going to keep going anyway. Uh, I think taking prebiotics and probiotics now, I know that's bad for me, so I do suspect SIBO of some type. But like I say, people with short intestine keep getting lactic acidosis, and it's because I've got short intestine. The bacteria that produce that are further up near the ileum, near the very, very absorptive area of of your small intestine, which is the top half. But yeah, so they're always having D-lactic acidosis. It can kill you. It's very acute, very bad, and it's not the type that you have when you get in your muscles. That type is easier to metabolize. This type, it's very hard for the body to metabolize, so it stays in your body longer, and it builds up. But I'm wondering if some of us, that's people with acute small intestines, but what about is there people with a bit longer small intestines, but not enough to make you acute for D-lactic acidosis? You know, it's just something to think about. But I think even with a normal small intestine, you can get SIBO. I think it's the type of thing that will go first if you're a sensitive person, because your immune system's probably a lot to do with your gut. So if your immune system's a bit you're a bit sensitive in that, you may end up with dysbiosis there, and then leaky gut as well, where you've got a very fine sieve for your small intestine, but with leaky gut it's bigger. You're letting in big proteins, and you may end up with allergic reactions to them and that. So it's all interesting. I find Dr. Norm Robilad's very interesting on this with his fast track diet. Also Dr. Eric Baird, because he concentrates on intermittent fasting. He used to be interested in taking vitamins and minerals all the time and stuff. So was I. But then one day you realise I should be doing probably the opposite. I should be eating less and fasting, intermittent fasting, letting my body self-clean, self-heal. And then the ultra low carb diet, well, that sort of thing's been around for a long time. Was it Mr. Keynes or something? There used to be some sort of high protein diet people talked about for dieting. But in this case, it's to stop feeding the bacteria. It's out of control, basically. It's probably normal gut bacteria, but it's out of control, probably. So you have to avoid complex carbs and sugars and probiotics, prebiotics, fermented stuff. And that includes things like sweeteners that are prebiotics, and that's like sucralose. So you'll find that, in fizzy drinks and a lot. Because I found that I love that cherries and berries diluted drink, and I thought, I'll drink that and it'll be healthy. But I felt really ill on it. And it was either the cherries and berries were depressing my detox enzymes, if you read about the phase 1 and phase 2 enzymes, especially like SIB3A4 and that. That's why they put don't eat grapefruit juice on medicine bottles. It's just a cover-all band-aid thing, because they found out in 1990 that grapefruit juice inhibits SIB3A4, which is a very important enzyme for detox. But nobody followed up on it or anything like that, so that's all we know so far, just grapefruit. And that's why they put it on medicine bottles, just sort of catch alls. Oh, by the way, don't need to drink grapefruit juice, We don't really know, because nobody's really looked, but we don't want to blame for anything, that sort of attitude. So that's my aim and all that. I mean, my gut, it does look less bloated to me, but it still feels a bit bloated. So I know people with SIBO say they've got it for decades, and some people go on really strict diets like glucose and amino acids, because the theory is that glucose is the easiest thing for the body to absorb, so it gets absorbed very high up in your small intestine, and the bacteria doesn't get access to it. But probably even that, if it's high up, it might still get to you. So it's interesting to read about all these things. So I'll keep going with this just now anyway. Mostly I'm eating meat, really. Meat and a bit of mixed veg. Some fruit juice to give me a bit of energy, just a sip now and then, not really even a glass. Um, and then I break it, occasionally with crisps or something, but really, I suppose you could just call it the meat and veg diet. But I'm not even sure about the veg. That might even be a bit fermented, but I'm using mixed veg, those little squares that you buy in a pack. Alright, that's all for today. Goodbye.